Hello, I'm Stephanie and I'm the date profiler, and I'm just on here to answer any of your questions about like finding the red flags in a dating situation. So I'm gonna stand here for a little bit. I don't really anticipate there being even anybody really coming on here live to ask me anything, but that's okay. I'm still a small account, but I do have something to tell you. So I'm just going to come on here and talk. And if somebody comes on and asks me a question, that's awesome. I will answer it. If not, I'll just tell you what I wanted to tell you and we'll go from there. Okay, so I do have some exciting news. Um, and I just thought I'd come on here to just introduce myself, tell you who the heck am I and what do I do. So I'm Stephanie. I call myself the date profiler because um, I think that it's important to profile the people that you are dating, okay? And this is why. So, my first marriage was a complete disaster. I ended up marrying somebody who was just a walking red flag, okay? Like, his red flags had red flags, okay? That's how bad that the situation was, okay? Um, so, I was, when I first dated him, when I got married to him, I was actually a case manager. I had a bachelor's in psychology. I was a case manager with like a mental health um, agency, and so I felt like, oh yes, I can help him. He had all these problems, and I don't have the same problems, and I can help him stay on track. Boy, was I wrong. You cannot fix anybody who does not want to be doing well, right? So while I was married to him, I ended up getting a job in law enforcement. And I can't say I still work there, so I can't really say exactly what I do, but I do work in my county for the court, if you will, whatever. And I deal with people who are criminals, okay? So that's basically what kind of helped me. Actually, that job helped me see, holy cow, all of the stuff that he's doing, these people that I'm working with are doing too. And so, honestly, probably within about 6 months, I think, of working there, we ended up separating, thankfully. And that was, I mean, whenever you separate from an abuser, that is always the most dangerous time in that relationship. So it was dangerous. I'm very happy that I got out. I didn't have any kids with him, thankfully. So I'm not like tied to him forever. But it did take me to get a dog, right? So I had a dog with him. And when he started threatening the dog, because he knew that I loved the dog, that's when my eyes finally opened and was like, wait a minute, you don't mess with my dog, right? So it's funny to me, like, not funny, but it's sad how a lot of women, it takes like their pet or their kids to finally wake up and see, ooh, this guy's not treating me very well. And this could be a dangerous situation. And so, anyways, but I learned so much from that whole marriage. I was like, I'm never ever doing that again, right? So I read all the books. And what was kind of an interesting situation for me was that at the same time I, had the experience where I was in the relationship, at the same time I'm like reading all of these books, and at the same time I'm working with a lot of these people. And so I would read something and I would be like, wait, did you read this too? Because you're saying exactly the thing that he's saying that you would say as a manipulation. So that was really interesting. So then whenever I started dating again, I I would basically just profile everybody. And I even was in a phase where I would even profile my friends because I was like, I don't even want to like be friends with somebody who could be an abuser, who's manipulative and all that. Or even somebody who's not willing to like kind of be honest with themselves. And so I went through that whole phase. So that's why I like to call myself the date profiler, because I believe you should be profiling the people that you are dating so that you keep yourself safe. Okay. So that's why my whole name, that's my story right there. Okay. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Now, um, I did get married again. It's so much better. It Like, obviously it's not ever perfect, but the thing is like the arguments you have with somebody who is not an abuser are very different from the arguments you have with somebody who is. Okay, because an abuser will argue with you over the dumbest crap. Like, I was just thinking today, like, one thing that I argued with my ex-husband was like, he wanted me to give him grapes that were washed, that were wet, just give them to him like that, like without putting them in a bowl. And I was like, well, why wouldn't you put them in a bowl? They're going to drip everywhere. Like, what the heck? He argued with me over that instead of just saying, thank you. Thank you for the grapes. I will eat them now. So it's like you don't have those kind of arguments anymore when you are with somebody who actually is on the same page with you. So I just wanted to share that. I do have two kids. They are 3 and 5. I did try to get a babysitter for today, but she got sick, so she's not here today. So my kids could just run in here and just scream at any moment. So we'll see if that happens. I hope it doesn't. If I don't get anybody on here to ask me any questions, I'm just going to keep it short. And I'm going to share with you this guide that I created. So I tried to ask like as many people as I could, because I know I'm still a small account. I'm just getting started, but I feel like this information is so important. So I'm really trying to grow and get this information out. But anyways, but I asked as many people as I could, and they said that from all of the options that I had of like a guide that I could create for people, this was the guide that they wanted. Okay, so this guide, get it, have it on my tablet. It's called, where is it? What am I doing here? Let's see. Okay, so my guide is called 15 Questions to Ask on a Date to Spot Red Flags. Yes, it's a little bit long of a name, but this is what people wanted. So if there's a different guide that like you're like, no, I want this to help me figure out who I need, please tell me, because I'm just getting started. I really am here to serve you, to help you, because I really want you to just be able to see all these red flags early on, because I don't want you to be wasting time with people who are abusers and who are going to hurt you in the end, okay? Because too many women are hurt or even killed, are living in just awful toxic relationships because either they just didn't know uh, you know what to look for in the beginning, and now they feel like they're stuck and they can't get out. And so that's what I'm really trying to help you do. And of course I talk too long. Okay, so my 15 questions to ask on a date to spot red flags. Now, one of the things is you don't have to ask these questions exactly how I phrase them or anything. You can obviously put them in your own wording. You don't have to ask all 15 of these. I just want you to have certain areas that you look at when you are on a date with somebody for the first time. There are certain areas that you want to learn about the person so you can kind of assess like what kind of person is this, right? So it's like you want to see what are their values, like are you guys on the same page with that, like values in your relationship. You want to see how does he handle stress, what's his relationship, easy for me to say, what's his relationship like with his family, those kind of things, right? How are his past relationships, right? Did he did he only ever date people who are crazy? Because you're probably going to be the next crazy person that he is going to say that you're crazy, right? Because if all of his exes are crazy, now everybody's dated somebody who was crazy, right? But if every single person is crazy, he's probably the one that is the crazy one, right? So you want to kind of find out, like, how does he talk about his exes, right? Like, find out about his day-to-day life. What is a typical weekend? Does he have hobbies, like other interests and stuff like that? And then what about his future? Like, what do you want for your future? Do you want to have a family? Do you want to get married and have kids someday? Does he want the same thing? Do you not? Like, you want to kind of, I know it's like some things you just want to kind of gauge a little bit on your first date to see, are you guys on the same page? Because you really don't want to waste time with somebody who is not, on the same page. And the biggest thing to me too that's important is, do you even like this guy? Right? So I don't want you to get so like into these questions where you feel like, oh, I have to ask all these questions, and then and like you don't even like him. Like if you don't even like him, don't even bother with the questions, right? Because that's the first thing you have to figure out. Do you like him? Okay. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna talk to you about a couple of of the questions, and then you can get, this is a free guide that I offer, so you can just comment guide and I'll send it to you. I do have it here in my Instagram. I have it linked in my bio. I'm probably gonna put this everywhere. I'm on YouTube. I'm on TikTok for however long they're gonna be around. And I think on YouTube I'm able to put a link in there. On TikTok I'm not yet because I'm too small. I don't have enough people following me yet, but as soon as I do, that will go live. But you can just comment guide and I will send you the link to get, I'll email you this guide. Okay. Now I don't give away any of my emails. I'm still very small. I don't have like a whole newsletter yet going on. I mainly just want to know, how can I serve you? So I might just ask you questions like, hey, did you think about the guide? Like, did you like it? Was it helpful? Is there anything I could do better? That kind of stuff. Like, so literally you could just ask me, like, or tell me, hey, this is what I'd like to see. This is what I need for me right now. Okay, so okay, one question about values. I think this is a good one. What does a healthy relationship look like to you? So you want to see kind of like, what are their expectations and what is his understanding of relationships? Like, are you on the same page with that? Because I feel like a lot of times we don't talk enough about what are our expectations. So if you can see what are his expectations, what are your expectations? Do they match? Or at least are they close? Like, can you guys compromise and like, have a healthy relationship? Because that's obviously what we're trying to do here with this dating thing, right? I think it's another good one here is, what is a deal breaker for you in a relationship? Because it can kind of help you figure out if your boundaries clash with his. So like, if his deal breaker is like, he doesn't want to have kids, but you do want to have kids, you should probably just bye, because that's going to be, you're not going to change his mind. He's not going to change your mind. You're not on the same page with that. Should probably just go. Should probably, honestly, before you get too attached, you should probably move it along. But sometimes people have all kinds of weird deal breakers. Oh my goodness, I saw a weird deal breaker the other day. This guy, so I follow this guy who is he makes songs out of like weird Tinder conversations or just weird, um like ads, Craigslist ads, or weird text messages, right? So one of the weird text messages he got was this guy, he was saying, he was texting somebody and he was saying that, hey, we had like a first date, but you sneezed a couple times and I heard you toot. And that's my biggest pet peeve, is that I don't like it when people toot. And so then he said, like, his wife, he has trust issues because when he was married, his ex-wife, she would apparently she wouldn't toot or fart, whatever, all day. But then at night, she would stand in the corner and she would fart. And so now he has trust issues because she promised him that she wasn't ever going to fart. And so now he has trust issues. He had to divorce her over it. I'm just like, run, because there is no way that you are never going to fart in your relationship. It's just normal, okay? They have to get over that. So if that's his big deal breaker, you're going to want to run, okay? That's crazy. All right. Let's see. Okay. So past relationships, like, this is a good one. What would your ex say about you? I feel like it kind of gives you a little bit more perspective. Helps him to stay a little bit more honest about whatever his ex would say. And just a good, like a third party kind of view, see what he would say, right? Another good one is like, what's your favorite way to unwind after a long day? So it kind of shows how do they deal with stress. Do they have a way to cope with stress, or are they just gonna take it all out on you, right? That's what you want to look at too. Okay then. Questions about the future. I like this one. What's something you're working on to improve yourself with, right? So I feel like it's always important to be working on improving yourself. And if you are growing with your partner, then you're going to have a good relationship, because nobody stays the same. You're not the same person you were 10 years ago, and your partner's not going to be the same person that they are in 10 years, if that makes any sense. So if you can grow together, you hopefully will both become better and be able to, grow in the same areas. And that will strengthen your relationship too. Okay, so anyways, those are just a couple of questions that I have. I have kind of just this long deal here. I'll send it to you. If you want all of the questions, I'll send it to you. Just comment guide. I'll send it to you. And then we'll go from there. And my exciting news is that I was asked to be on a podcast to talk about some of this stuff. So I will keep you posted. I'm really excited about this podcast. Like, it's going to be so much fun. And I love talking about all this stuff. Like, I could talk about this stuff for hours. So if you have questions, hit me up. I will share once I have more details, like when the podcast is going to be aired, when we're going to have the interview and all that kind of stuff. And the woman who does it, her name is Jen. She is on, what is it called? Single Mom Society. She is fantastic. Like, she has the funniest content on her Instagram. And so I'm really excited to be talking with her for an hour on her podcast. So once that happens, I'll keep you updated so you can check that out. Okay. Well, nobody's on here, which is fine because I'm a super tiny account still. But I just want to come on here live just to like let people know, hey, I'm here. I want to answer your questions. If you have any questions, just let me know. And since my babysitter should be coming next weekend, I will go live again next weekend. Probably just do the same time, 12 o'clock noon, Mountain Standard Time, and we'll go from there. So I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and make sure that you are asking the right questions, profile your dates, and be safe out there. See you next time.